start, huh? You think so?
Sure.
You have to unmute yourself. All right, okay. I'll start then.
Welcome everyone to our Tea House discussion in Sifter of Dust. This is our Thursday night discussion in which we invite a speaker to come and talk to us about a topic within the Baha'i Faith so that we can all learn and discuss it and delve deeply into this magnificent religion. Today's topic is actually really, really important, and you wouldn't necessarily think about it on the surface, and I kind of want to bring it out a little bit about why this Baha'i principle of consultation is so important. If you look at the history of humanity, our social structures have mostly been where somebody is given authority either through birth or through some form of other process, usually because they're a great warrior or a great leader, and then that person makes final decisions. So our decision-making throughout human history has in large part been top-down, right? Coming from the top and flowing down. But, you know, as humanity is entering into this new phase with a world that's complex and sophisticated, and increasingly everyone is very well educated and so forth, we need a new way to make decisions, a way that is peaceful, that brings peace, that brings unity. And that principle that Baha'u'llah revealed is called consultation. You know, we can think of Baha'u'llah's revelation as like God sending us down a toolbox, right? And all of these tools, and he says, God says, you know, okay, go build a peaceful world yourselves, but here are the tools. So you got to figure out how to use them. You got to figure out how to apply them. And one of the most important tools that Baha'u'llah emphasized was this principle of consultation. And so I'm not going to steal our wonderful speaker, Karen Eshraghi's thunder, and she's going to tell us all about it. But I wanted to talk about it because I wanted to set it up this way, because if you look at most of the dissension and division that exists in our society, the really impotence in many ways of our political institutions, it really often comes down to a failure of execution of this process of consultation that Baha'u'llah has revealed. Now, most of the people in the world don't know about it, but once you learn about it, you'll find that it's something that will be very familiar. You've engaged in this your whole life, but you haven't sort of known how to do it. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight, and it's most important. So tonight, we're really honored to have our dear friend Karen Eshraghi come and present to us on this principle. I've known Karen for many years. She became a Baha'i in the 1990s and has a beautiful family that lives in the suburbs of Philadelphia. Karen, I just tell the story, but she really put together this beautiful program for children years ago when her children were young, and called Tender Branches, which many of us began to use. It was really powerful, and I know Karen worked on that. She did so much work with that, and it really was in some ways a prelude to what Baha'i communities do all over the world, which is children's classes that we invite our entire community to. And so, you know, Karen was really one of the leaders in that. So we're really honored to have her come and talk about this principle of consultation. So with that, I'm going to stop talking and I'm going to turn it over to Karen.
Thank you so much, Kendall, and thank you so much for setting the stage, you know, for conversation and reflection on this, you know, most important topic. I really appreciate the work that you and Charlotte have done with, you know, offering this space, this forum, for really delving into, you know, important topics that are, you know, affecting our society. And so I'm just like delighted that you invited me to, you know, participate in this session this evening. And I'm really fascinated to be able to elaborate on how you describe consultation as being a tool. And indeed, it is a tool. Consultation is really a sanctified decision-making process in the Baha'i community, because it brings people together from different walks of life to formulate solutions to problems facing society. The pivotal principle in the Baha'i Faith is the unity of all peoples, and it is through the processes of forging unity in the communities that justice is realized. Justice promotes that all people are treated fairly, regardless of their walk of life, their circumstance. And so consultation is that tool for operationalizing the pursuit of justice in all human endeavors. The events of racial inequity and justice that have unfolded this past year has been a pivotal time for Americans to come to realize that there is great suffering and need for solutions to the many disparities in our health, social, educational, legal, economic, and justice systems that perpetuate racial and cultural inequities and divisions. I truly believe that the Baha'i process of consultation provides one tool of many tools that we need to learn and master for communities to begin to have dialogues in forging new ideas, new thoughts, new solutions that promote positive health and welfare. I hope in this brief 20-minute presentation that we scrape on a few of the basic verities that the founders of the Baha'i Faith envisioned as promising for bringing about world peace. And Baha'u'llah says, "Say, no man can attain his true station except through his justice. No power can exist except through unity. No welfare and no well-being can be attained except through consultation." Divine wisdom is guidance that God progressively reveals through his messengers to transform the character of humankind to spiritual new heights. Baha'u'llah, who Baha'is believe is the most recent messenger of God, outlined a new framework for a global civilization in which there is an advancement in both material and spiritual dimensions of life. Baha'u'llah's revelation calls for the progress of humanity through heightened relationships between individuals and communities. We are advised to use consultation to guide us in making good decisions in all our projects and endeavors. The process of consultation allows for people to gain greater insight and become more open-minded and compassionate. The great being refers to Baha'u'llah, saith, "The heaven of divine wisdom is illumined with the two luminaries of consultation and compassion. Take ye counsel in all matters, inasmuch as consultation is the lamp of guidance, which leadeth the way and is the bestower of understanding." The Baha'i sacred text elaborates extensively on the benefits of consultation as a powerful tool for arriving at solutions in a dignified and respectful manner. The first benefit is it provides new insight and greater awareness into a subject. This then allows for a thorough exploration for gathering facts, asking questions, and addressing concerns. Second, when trying to determine what is best to do, consultation helps give clarity about what makes the most sense given a person's current reality. Third, planning then provides guidance on what steps are needed to take to accomplish the vision. Fourth, consultation is focused on devising solutions through collective input. Abdu'l-Baha, the son of the prophet founder of the Baha'i Faith, and Baha'is believe that he is a perfect exemplar of spiritual ideals and qualities. He was known as the father of the poor during his ministry, as he was an ardent supporter of uplifting the downtrodden. Abdu'l-Baha was very well known in his day for providing counsel and advice to all that requested his help. Abdu'l-Baha revealed how consultation insists with empowering all people, and that consultation should be used as a tool for peace and well-being. Abdu'l-Baha says, the question of consultation is of utmost importance and is one of the most potent instruments conducive to the tranquility and felicity of the people. For example, when a believer is uncertain about his affairs, or when he seeketh to pursue a project or trade, the friends should gather together and devise a solution for him. Baha'u'llah, prophet founder of the Baha'i Faith, brought a new religion to mankind in the mid-1800s. His teachings are viewed by Baha'is around the world as a gift to humanity, as they inspire individuals and communities to contribute to an advancing civilization. His vast writings provide guidance and insight on attaining peace and building a global civilization. The writings of Baha'u'llah elevates the nobility of humanity by providing means to reach a station of perfection through acquiring spiritual qualities. In this next quote, Baha'u'llah expresses the gifts of understanding that is received through consultation. Consultation bestoweth greater awareness and transmuteth conjecture into certitude. It is a shining light which in a dark world leadeth the way and guideth. For everything there is and will continue to be a station of perfection and maturity. The maturity of the gift of understanding is made manifest through consultation. The goal in the Baha'i Faith is to attain the oneness of humanity, and Baha'i communities strive to bring about harmonious relationship between diverse members of the community. Baha'is are actively engaged in community building projects in communities around the globe, from small villages in Africa to metropolitan areas in USA. Projects big and small incorporate consultation in all aspects of vibrant community life. The spiritual nature of consultation has several components, including the spiritual attributes of members seeking consultation, free expression of opinion and arguments, detachment of emotions and differing points of view when offering different points of view, recognition that through the clashing of differing opinions, that the spark of truth will be realized. Abdu'l-Baha, who I mentioned in the preceding section, was a renowned champion of social justice and a staunch proponent of international peace. His ministry was dedicated to establishing the Baha'i administrative order and promoting the ideals of peace, unity, and justice in the world. His father, Baha'u'llah, conferred on him as the center of the covenant in order to safeguard the faith and provide guidance on interpreting and disseminating the messages of spiritual renewal and hope. Abdu'l-Baha wisely advised about the importance of detachment in the process of consultation to promote positive outcomes, such as discovering truth, and avoid negative outcomes that result in conflict and hurt feelings. Abdu'l-Baha says, the prime requisites for them that take counsel together are purity of motive, radiance of spirit, detachment from all else save God, attraction to his divine fragrances, humility and lowliness amongst his loved ones, patience and long suffering in difficulties, and servitude to his exalted threshold. Should they be graciously aided to acquire these attributes, victory from the unseen kingdom of Baha shall be vouchsafed to them. The members thereof must take counsel together in such wise that no occasion for ill feeling or discord may arise. This can be attained when every member expresseth with absolute freedom his own opinion and setteth forth his argument. Should anyone oppose, he must on no account feel hurt, for not until matters are fully discussed can the right way be revealed. The shining spark of truth cometh forth only after the clashing of differing opinions. It is important to differentiate between how consultation defined in today's society as we know it and what the Baha'i sacred texts delineate as the true conditions for consultation. As we know, consultation is a tool for communication utilized in a variety of settings as a way to solve problems, deliberate on issues, or discuss important matters. Consultation is defined, according to Wikipedia, as the action or process of formally discussing and is a strategy that is devised to solve a problem and accomplish a goal. It is important to note that in our culture, that the current strategy for solving the problem will be informed by the values, perspectives, or business model of whom is providing the consultation. This is a decision-making function of what benefits the business or organization and is not necessarily aimed at bringing about unity or taking into account all perspectives when making a decision. In some instances, this can lead to adversarial situations. In contrast, the spirit of Baha'i consultation is a very different decision-making process from current approaches, as it strives to bring about unity of thought through conditions which allow for the spiritual of consultation to unfold in optimal conditions, including the promoting of absolute love and harmony, seeking aid through a prayerful state of being, achieving high standards for truth seeking, displaying a humble posture of moderation when freely expressing views, avoid belittling or demeaning another person's view, and arriving at an unanimous decision. Abdu'l-Baha says the following words. The first condition is absolute love and harmony amongst the members of the assembly. They must be wholly free from estrangement and must manifest themselves the unity of God. For they are as waves of one sea, the drops of one river, the stars of one heaven, the rays of one sun, the trees of one orchard, the flowers of one garden. Should harmony of thought and absolute unity be non-existence, then that gathering should be dispersed and that assembly be brought to naught. The second condition, they must, when coming together, turn their faces to the kingdom on high and ask aid from the realm of glory. They must then proceed with the utmost devotion, courtesy, dignity, care, and moderation to express their views. They must in every matter search out the truth and not insist upon their own opinion, for stubbornness and persistence in one's views will lead ultimately to discord and wrangling, and the truth will remain hidden. the honored members must, with all freedom, express their own thoughts, and it is no wise permissible for one to belittle the thoughts of another. Nay, he must with moderation set forth the truth, and should differences of opinion arise, a majority of the voices must prevail, and all must obey and submit to the majority. When we look at these beautiful pictures of nature, we are reminded of the perfection of nature, the orchard, the flowers, the ocean, the river, the universe are so magnificent and so orderly. Abdu'l-Baha describes so perfectly in the first condition how love and harmony is an essential requisite to achieving unity and consultation, and how these qualities need to be inherent like the beauty and harmony of nature in order for a consultation to proceed. He asserts, though, if these conditions are not present, it is better not to engage in consultation. He further asserts in the second condition, what prevents a consultation from achieving the goal and admonishes us to refrain from certain behaviors, such as belittling others or insisting on one's point of view. Ultimately, the goal of consultation is to arrive at a unanimous decision. However, if that is not possible, then a majority decision is permissible. In the case, though, when there is a majority vote, then the divergent voters must comply with the majority vote. Each bosom must be a telegraph station, one terminus of the wire attached to the soul, the other fixed in the supreme concourse, so that inspiration may descend from the kingdom of Allah and questions of reality be discussed. Then opinions will coincide with truth. Day by day, there will be progression and the meetings become more radiant and spiritual. The attainment is conditioned upon unity and agreement. The more perfect the love and agreement, the more the divine confirmations and assistance of the blessed perfection will descend. In discussions, look toward the reality without being self-opinionated. Let no one assert and insist upon his own mere opinion. Nay, rather, let each investigate the reality with the greatest love and fellowship. Consult upon every matter, and when one presents the point of view of the reality itself, that shall be acceptable to all. Then will spiritual unity increase among you, individual illumination will be greater, happiness more abundant, and you will draw nearer and nearer to the kingdom of God. So I just love the imagery of this quote, and I think this is my favorite quote. And so I'm going to read that first sentence again because it gives me chills when I think about it. Each bosom must be a telegraph station, one terminus of the wire attached to the soul, the other fixed in the supreme concourse, so that inspiration may descend from the kingdom of Allah and questions of reality be discussed. I find that quote so exciting because I'm imagining that we have a telephone line to the heavens above by using consultation. So the consultative process allows for the discovery of reality by people sharing their different views, perspectives, or opinions. The collective input helps to formulate a mutual agreement inspired by the discussion that has evolved and confirmations have been received. The greater the unity amongst the friends in the consultation, the greater the degree of divine assistance that will be received. So when I try to wrap my head around that concept, I think about a recent experience developing goals both on an individual and a group level with a group of friends, dear friends of mine, that we organized a weekly deepening dedicated to promoting race unity in my local community. We all came together with pure hearts, wanting to make a positive impact, and we devised many realistic and smart goals. Since that time, I found that many opportunities have naturally arisen because I believe in that process of consultation that heightened my spiritual susceptibilities and awareness to opportunities that aligned with our aims in terms of promoting race unity. So I think the beauty in the process, as Abdu'l-Baha highlights, is that believers are assured that decisions will be made in alignment with the will of God. And when the right conditions are present, then there must be a willingness to act according in respect to the guidance that has been provided. This process helps to build capacity in individuals and communities to enhance relationship and forge new paths of service. Baha'is engage in consultation in all aspects of building a vibrant community life, administering the affairs of the community, from holding children's classes, hosting junior youth programs, running study circles, to deliberating on important decisions in the administrative body. Every 19 days, the local communities all hold gatherings for the community members for the purpose of having space for spiritual nourishment and consultation on topics related to the Baha'i community. When consultation is effectively used, the members get a better perspective of seeing the big picture and finding a solution that takes the needs and feelings of others into consideration. One closing quote from Abdu'l-Baha to wrap up today's presentation and goes back to the point that Kendall made at the very introduction in terms of the balance of power. And so one thought to lead off of is, and that will lead us into discussion after this quote, is how this consultative process can assist with establishing balance of power in human affairs. To transform the structures in our society that are most beneficial to all people, we need to consider new ways of communicating that will advance understanding and make progress. The purpose of consultation is to show that the views of several individuals are assuredly preferable to one man, even as the power of a number of men is of course greater than the power of one man. Thus, consultation is acceptable in the presence of the Almighty and hath been enjoined upon the believers, so that they may confer upon ordinary and personal matters, as well as on affairs which are general in nature and universal. And with that, I end the formal presentation and hope we can engage in dialogue and discussion now.
That's great, Karen. Thank you so much.
Gosh, thank you, Karen. Wow, that was very informative, and what I loved hearing you talk about consultation was I could really feel your love and for this tool. And I know we spoke before the presentation about how if all societies and communities use this amazing tool, problem solving would be a lot easier and much more beneficial for societies as a whole. So,
there were a number of things that struck me in the quotes, and I was thinking about this and I'm interested to hear what other people's thoughts are as well about what really struck them. But one of the things that came out is this idea of reality, and that there's a reality, a truth out there that we're trying to get to, and that through this power of us all bringing our own resources and talents to bear, sharing them among the group in an unselfish way, we have this better chance to get to the reality of a situation and make decisions that are more consistent with reality. And, it just strikes me so much, so often in the faith, of how this idea of truth and reality is at the center of it, and helping us sort of get to that point. And it's a beautiful idea in the Baha'i Faith of coherence, that, reality itself is actually a coherent thing. If we open ourselves up to exploring it with an open mind, we will find that to be true. That's just some of the thoughts that came to me as I was reading those quotes. Very powerful.
I see my dear friend, my dear sister, Vanessa. Vanessa, hello.
Great. Karen, I was thinking when you were talking, you were speaking about consultation as a process. And when you think about it as a process, several things are being developed in the individual and in the collective group through the process, because it takes a lot of the spiritual qualities to be able to successfully put about the process of consultation. You have humility, you have love, you have kindness, you have the raising your mind to a higher level of thinking, when you can collectively put the ideas together and you're not focused on one idea. So just through the process of consultation, it's raising us to a different level of our development, our spiritual development. And as a result of that consultation, it affects the whole community, which in turn brings them to a higher level, right? A spiritual development. Given their process or whatever the issue that they're consulting on.
I think one thing I always kind of get a visual about consultation is really a group of people sitting in a circle. And, if I put an idea out, it immediately goes into the middle of the circle, and it's just there, and it's not my idea anymore because I've given it out. And as other people discuss and give their ideas out, my idea, my opinion can completely change. And this is, like Vanessa said, humility and openness and love. Like, I might have an idea of what I think the answer is, and yet I'm humble and I'm open. Like, in today's society, in business meetings and things, people come in with an agenda, okay, I want to get this done, this done, this done. So they're totally blocked off. They don't want to hear other people's opinions. They want to promote their agenda and get it approved and leave, right? So, but this is a process of really listening. And I just love the idea of my, I can change my idea about anything because I don't have all the answers. I don't have all the knowledge. And so, if Ramin gives some input, I'm like, oh, wow. Yeah. I never thought of that way. Oh yeah. And it's this idea of being just, it builds, and it takes a group process to understand more about the whole, because I'm just one little tiny part, and I just love it. I think the love that you bring to the table is so evident, and consultation is this search for truth, because we want the truth, we want the answer, and we all can be a part of that. And yeah.
Mary Alice, what is your thoughts in terms of, like, do you see any value in terms of
definitely
how it can transform societies and conversation and dialogue? What are your thoughts about that?
I agree wholeheartedly with Charlotte. When you open your mind to other ideas, when you don't come with a fixed agenda, you give your view and then others give theirs, they can expand upon your views and you can come to a better understanding, because they undoubtedly will express views that you haven't given thought to, that haven't occurred to you. So I definitely see the benefit of consultation. It's just so important for us to come to consultation with love and an open mind.
Yes.
Because without an open mind, we're blocking.
Right.
We're blocking those views, and we will not come to a better understanding.
So true. So I was just wondering if you had like an example of when, or you know, a thought in terms of like when you saw Baha'i consultation used really effectively.
All right, yeah. I don't have any one outstanding moment. I just basically would say that I think consultation runs most successfully when ideally most of the members of those who are consulting have the same vision in mind, the same goal in mind.
Yes.
Then there's an urgency to really, really determine what the right answer should be. But when there is a situation where either there's ambivalence or there's not a clear cut vision of exactly what the end result should be, then a lot of problems result. I think other things that play in mind, of course, are ego, pride, but and that's true. I think that's generally true, but I think the most outstanding would be those times when there's a real true vision of what that goal should be.
Absolutely. That makes so much sense.
Can I just, sorry, I'm talking a lot, but there's a quote regarding consultation that says, you know, if the members are unified and come to a decision, and later on it's found that that decision wasn't necessarily the sorry, I'm not phrasing it right. It's the right thing because it was made in unity.
Absolutely.
No matter what
the
outcome is, if it's in unity, it's the right outcome, basically.
Yeah, the quote that you're referring to is along the lines that it's that rather than arguing over different points of view, but that unity is more important than having the right decision. Because if you have unity, and if you have unity about a wrong decision, then that will eventually come out that it's wrong. So in that instance, it's more important to preserve unity because the goal of consultation is advancing human relationships and fostering, you know, goodwill and amity amongst individuals and heightening those relationships. So that's more important. And, you know, and so it's so beautiful, like you're just saying, just in terms of how, you know, and that's so kind of different from how, you know, how we think about, you know, consultation used like, you know, in current society, because the consultation that's like in current, you know, that is used in current society, there's a hidden agenda, there could be a hidden agenda to that consultation to influence a person towards a particular way or a petition, you know, and so how consultation is used, I mean, it's beautiful, but it's not the same as the Baha'i way, you know, in terms of the goal being unity and unanimity, which is so beautiful.
Karen, if I can expound upon, you mentioned the group that we have on our racial justice. So we started our group, you know, I think it was like a year ago when the whole situation came out, you know, with the knee on the neck, you know, I get really emotional. So there was a lot of hype in the media a year ago, and people were protesting and so forth and so on. How can we get racial justice? And as Baha'is, we look to the guidance from the Universal House of Justice and the National Spiritual Assembly. And we read the letters and we got together as a group and said, okay, what can we do? And we consulted on the process that we would go through in order to get a better understanding of how, as Baha'is, we can address this issue, this vital issue of racial injustice and prejudice.
Yes.
And we decided, what action can we take, and talk about the concourse on high, right?
Oh my God.
What has come out from all of that consultation, putting our heads together and studying, is we have so many initiatives going on right now. So we finished that, and we're at the point where, okay, how will we take the last guidance that we received and put that into action? And that action is fellowship, harmony, unity, building relationships.
Yeah.
It gave us directions for the whites and for the blacks. What do you have to do? But in order to do that, you have to come together. You have to come together. You have to meet together. You have to have a gathering where you can come together to put those steps into action. So it brought us to this point where we can develop something bigger to bring our community together and consult on that issue with people from different perspectives. So we'll have like a major consultation process coming up, Karen.
I know. So yeah, that is, thank you for sharing that and for giving the context, because you've just outlined it so beautiful. And I'm so glad that we have that on the video, so I can listen to it, your beautiful words again, describing the whole process, because, what is so beautiful about how you just kind of, unfolded that process of consultation, is that, through that, the spiritual susceptibilities, you become more aware. And it's just like the concourse on high just gives you these opportunities to connect with others in meaningful ways. So, Vanessa, she's, a part of, we decided that we were going to be we would align with like-minded community organizations. And so Vanessa and another friend, Young, they are involved with the interfaith, interfaith ministry, Peace Walk in Philadelphia. And then Susan and I have aligned with a new kind of grassroots organization in Montgomery County that formed, given, the horrific events of this past year, kind of formed, to do some, be a part of like advocacy work. And so part of their advocacy is like reimagining community service. And so Susan and I are consulting with this, body, and, lo and behold, we're wanting to hold a day in June for, for a day of community service. So we suggest, well, it aligns with Race Unity Day, and then we had like, oh yeah, Race Unity Day is actually a Baha'i Baha'i program, and so now the auspices that they're wanting to establish Race Unity Day as a county-wide day of service, so that every year, so it's like you when you're in that process of consultation, you don't know what the end result is. You don't know what the fruit is going to look like. But you hold on to the fact that you have been faithful to this institution, which has been given to us as a gift from Baha'u'llah. And the fruits are just, and that's what's, is it brings the love and the unity. And so, yeah, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, it's that process. And then from that, you take the consultation process to the group that you are working with,
Yes.
and we take the consultation process
Yes.
to the group that we're working with, and it filters out into the world through just our examples of how to consult and come to an agreement on initiatives that we're working towards. And it's all through that process. And I know you feel it, Karen, that concourse, it just like was blessing all of us in that group.
And up here in the northeastern part of Pennsylvania, we had race unity days for a long time until the NAACP up here started a diversity picnic about the same time. So we decided, as a matter of our consultative process, to stop our events and support theirs. And now that theirs have sort of ended after about 20 years, they did it for a long time. We're going back to a blend of race amity and race unity. We don't care what you call it, as long as the same goal is in mind. You know, we get people to recognize we're all one human family and work together and break bread together, right? And that sort of thing. And do other community service events with that sort of concept of overcoming racism and becoming more peaceful in our human family relationships.
Nice.
Thank you.
The other thing, just on that other earlier topic of consultation, I just love that idea of the connection to the concourse on high. And it occurred to me that, and I don't know why it didn't occur to me in all my 70 years before, or 40 years as a Baha'i, that Abdu'l-Baha, you know, we have this concept of Abdu'l-Baha being with us in the meeting. If we are, of course, humbly offering our ideas to Abdu'l-Baha, not to any other individual in the room, but to Abdu'l-Baha, we'll have a certain sense of humility, one hopes, and also of joy, of being able to share with Abdu'l-Baha and the rest of the people there too. It just never occurred to me that, of course, that's what we should be doing.
You know, I was struck in that quote that of Baha'u'llah, he says the two luminaries is that the heaven of divine wisdom is illumined by the two luminaries of consultation and compassion, right? This connection between, it's interesting that he joined those two concepts together. Don't you find it? Because, true consultation really does involve compassion, is about empathy. It's about feeling what other people are feeling. It's about, stepping outside of yourself, right? All of differences. It's very interesting how those are joined together.
Yeah, no, that's very interesting. And I had to look up, I had to, I did a lot of looking up of words to try to kind of like make that bridge of connection, like you just did so beautifully. It is so fascinating how that process of consultation helps with understanding and putting and having empathy for other, people and for other, perspectives. And so, indeed, I thought that was a interesting, combination in terms of how, when you think of a luminary gives light. And so it gives light to understanding.
Sorry, I think Dave had something to share. Did you, Dave?
Well, using that term, luminary, it reminds me of what they do sometimes up here on Halloween. They have luminaries lining the path along the road. So it's a helping you find your way towards whatever the vision is that you have in mind, your goal.
I
also wanted to mention something. I think in the beginning you mentioned about the book, Ruhi book. It's a Ruhi book 10.2. It's all about consultation. So if to get more deeper, and shows the importance of it, that the whole book is dedicated to this topic.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, I just want to highlight that a little bit, what Ramin is saying. So if you're new to the Baha'i Faith and you're looking to learn more, we have a series of really introductory study books that Baha'i communities sponsor study sessions on. And so you go through these books, book 1, book 2, and so forth. And they're absolutely wonderful. And they really, it's the kind of discussion we're having this evening, where you have this absolutely beautiful quote and you end up talking about it, and you go through this process of learning about the Baha'i Faith and the Baha'i writings with others in a consultative environment. They're absolutely wonderful. And one of those books is about just the process of consultation itself. And you can take that course if you contact your local Baha'i community or are interested in discussing that with somebody.
Can I just add one really quick thing before I know before time's nearly up, but you know, consultation as a tool isn't just for, you know, some people might think, oh, it's just for communities or businesses, or, you know, it's for families too.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think there's a quote that says, you know, take ye counsel in all matters, be they big or small. You know, as a family unit, you know, with our children, it's kind of funny because they use it against us. You know, they're like, well, we didn't consult about that. Like our son didn't want to do baseball. He was like, well, you didn't consult with me about this. We're like, yeah, we didn't. You know, it's just authoritarian. Okay, you're going to do baseball, but nope, that didn't work. And he just quit because he didn't want to, you know? So it's even at a family level, it's very valuable. And as you raise your children to get used to this idea of coming together and sharing ideas and talking it through, rather than it being just a top down, like, you will do this, you know? So
sure, Charlotte, I, you know, knowing that I was going to be doing a 20-minute presentation, you know, there needed to be a process of prioritization and what to include. And so I didn't even, you know, attempt to include quotes on the family because I just thought it would go way too long. But I really do think we, you know, if at some point, you know, you wanted another topic, you needed another topic, I'd be happy to do a presentation just on consultation in the family.
Karen, that would be great. We really will look forward to that.
A practical, because you have 3 lovely daughters, and I'm sure you've had a lot of experience with this. So wonderful, like a practical way to use consultation in families.
Well, they would have to be a part of it to know if we've done a good job on it or not.
Well, I know your daughters well enough to know that you've done a spectacular job raising children. So
yeah. And so our next one will be in 2 weeks on the 6th. And it's actually by my dear friend Chitra Golestani Magzi from California, who introduced me to the Baha'i Faith. So she's like a sister to me. So I will advertise that. And
Karen, thank you so much for doing.
Karen, you did such an excellent job. This is
Yeah, thank you. That was great.
Thank
really
you so
beautiful, Karen. I mean, really, you're so loving, and you can just feel your love, and it's
well,
just.
Thank you. I had you up on my, like, I saw your picture up. I mean, I kept seeing you smiling, and it gave me encouragement to see your nice smiling face.
Oh.
Happy Rizwan, everyone.
Happy
Happy Earth Day.
And Earth Day.
Thank you.
Same thing.
Aloha, everyone. Thanks, guys.
Hi, Frank.
I love the beard, Frank, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, it's really a good look. It's really very nice on you.